Hi, welcome to another brand new episode of Extra Time with Gystin. Thank you so much for joining me. We are closing to the end of the season, and I'm telling you, we've listened to very amazing stories of the different people we see in the sports sector. But again, this has also been a story. I think before we close of this season, I will sit with my entire crew and we'll tell you what our journey has been like so far. Now, the person we'll be hosting today is one who has been in the football fraternity for quite some time. But what most of us know about him is the fact that he is the director of Proline, maybe most recently also because we know that he is looking to unseat the current FUFA president, Engineer Moses Magogo. Now, that's none other than Mujib Kasule. Now, let me tell you, the fact that we are hosting him makes it very justifiable to have this show because he's been here for quite some time, but I doubt many of us know a lot about him. I mean, what does he do beyond football? If he's not talking football on TV or on the pitch, what is he doing? Where was he born? How did he get here? That and so much more is coming up. My crew is ready, the guest is here, so let's do it.
When I was playing, we didn't have youth systems, we didn't have academies, and I was to myself, where are these people, where are they coming from? The people who play for Cranes, you know, and there was absolutely nothing done at the lower level. So I started Proline, and I started from ages 4 years all the way to the top. And now, 15 years later, I am so happy because now
the fruits are clear. Yeah,
exactly. Academies have mushroomed. People are believing more in the youth. They are being given an opportunity. And
because we've seen it.
Exactly. And I have actually brought through a boy that came to me when he was 3 years old. And now people see him at 17 and actually they can see.
Yeah.
So right now the phones are ringing off the hook. More parents now are opening their eyes to say this can be done.
Because when you talk about your time where you were playing and you say you were talking to leaders, you must have considered you a big-headed person then.
I was, and I was fought pretty much. It was
because
tough.
That's typical of Uganda, really.
Exactly. I faced that. They fought me. They didn't want this project to take off. They called me all sorts of things. They even one time tried to ban me from football altogether. Simply because I brought an idea that was supposed to be good for the country. But right now, many people, they are seeing, like I said, people believe more in what they see. And they are seeing what we are doing with limited resources, amid so many challenges, but we are posting results, and we are replicating the idea to the rest of the country.
So 27 years, you call it quits?
Yes.
Stayed in administration?
Yes, I went into coaching. I became a player's agent. Because again, up until that time, Ugandans, we just played for fun. We didn't have focus. We didn't have goals. We were just playing, and the fans would come. Then we go home. But having been exposed to the developed countries in the game, I realized that this is a career. But it can only be a career if you treat it as one. So I came here and I started to sell the dream to Ugandan players. You know, stop looking at Uganda. You need to look beyond. This career can take you to places where they can pay you good money, and you make a career out of it. You look after yourself and you look after other people. So for me to do that, I needed to be a player's agent to actually do that job look for market for them. So I became a player's agent, and I started taking Ugandan players to different clubs, South Africa, Vietnam, Iceland, US, Portugal, you name them. And now that chapter was also opened. Now every Ugandan player dreams of playing football outside, and they work towards that.
So you're now looking to unseat the incumbent FUFA president. So you'll be the FUFA president. What things are you going to concentrate on first?
The youth. The youth. Because football is more than a game. It's a complete way of life. And the ball itself does not speak. It needs people to fight for it. And also the young ones, they don't have a voice. So they need people to fight for them. But we have an obligation to put systems, to put structures, and to put our hands on their shoulders and to push them to achieve their dreams. So the Ugandan kids that want to play football, it's incumbent on us that we start with them. Right now, the system kind of starts from the top, and looks after those at the top. Exactly. So I want to spread the game to every corner of the country, because this is the most popular sport in the country and it is played all over Uganda, but we don't have the system that goes all the way to the bottom. So I want to go from the district, and in the zones in the district, let kids play football. Before we think about Uganda Cranes and professional football, it's their right to play. And if it's the sport they want to use to play, we need to take it to them. So that's where I want to start, going from down, going up. Then, of course, as they play, those that excel, they have to filter through. So they need a pipeline to take them to the heights they want to achieve. Sure. So we want to make club football very strong, the leagues to be very strong, especially the top league, such that the ones that dream to be professional players, they can achieve it. The ones that want to get scholarship and go to school and play football, they can achieve it. Those who want to go for fitness and whatever it is, they can achieve it. Football can make you achieve whatever you want to achieve, if it is well structured and the systems are there. So make the clubs very strong, such that the business end of the game can be attached to very strong club football, because now you start to introduce the funds. Then when you introduce the funds, you have the numbers. When you have the numbers, the corporate world comes to join you. So when the corporate world comes, those are the people that come with money. Now, when the money comes, then players can start to dream. And everyone is happy. Exactly. They get paid, journalists get paid, you know, the fans get
we know when we come to the venue, to the pitch.
Exactly. And we create a football atmosphere in the country. Then we can live football. Right now, we are not living it because it is not structured. There is no systems. So, and we are not deliberate. So that's where I want to start. So because if I make these two, the youth football very strong, club football very strong, Cranes will have no choice but to be strong. But at the moment, Cranes is standing at a very weak foundation. That's what we want to change around.
That's a huge discussion that would be. But now, enough of that. Switch to now Mujib as a person. If someone asked you to describe yourself, how would you describe yourself?
I don't know how to describe myself, but I am very public in my work, extremely private in my real life. So, very, very...
You know, when I was talking to a friend, and I said, I want to host Mujib, and the impression he gave me is what he just said, very private. And I said, okay, yeah. Now those are the people who want, because I mean, you've been in football forever.
Yes.
But I think most of us, all we know is Mujib is the director of Proline, he's played football. And you just think, you're like, if you're not doing football, what are you doing?
If I'm not doing football, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. If I'm not playing football, I am coaching it. If I'm not coaching it, I'm writing about it. If I'm not writing about it, I am talking about it. Even my businesses, most of them inside football. When I go home, football channel, so I watch it. But once in a while, I like friends, people, I like friends, I like family. I like to go, you know, the local place. Abe Mchiwi, Katoluwama, those crazy guys. Yes, I love to do that. Once there's a play, I will go there because I believe in letting the steam out, laughing and, you know, going somewhere, the people you're watching are being silly, you're also being silly for like 4 hours, that's all you're doing. That releases a lot of stress for me, so I like to do that. I travel a lot, but still mostly because of my line of work. I travel a lot, but I'm not adventurous still. I will go 1 week away, and that entire week I have not left the hotel. So I am that kind of person. Very boring. Very boring.
Yeah, close to boring, really.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, you've been a player, you're directly into football. Let's talk about some things, off the pitch things, or habits or ways that affect sports personalities greatly.
Yes.
I've had people say what sports personalities do off the pitch contributes a very good percentage of what they do on the pitch.
Yes.
Talk to me about some of the things you've seen around Ugandan sports people that you think have an effect on what quite a number of them bring on the pitch.
Yes, and myself including. I'm not going to take myself out of this equation. Football is just like any sport. Sport is discipline oriented. You need to be extremely disciplined to achieve in sports, because sports depends on your body. So you need to look after your body extremely well, because you need the body to give you the energy to use during the time you're playing the sport. Now, outside that, the world is giving you these attractive things, but they take your energy, which you need to play sport. So anything that hurts the body definitely hurts your football. So footballers, they like to drink, they like to party, they like to socialize, the opposite sex especially. But that one is so much an effect of their football activity. Usually the ladies also, they want to be around sports people. I don't know if you know about that. So those now begin to affect them. Women, alcohol, clubbing. Then now, in trying to perform to the highest level, they get into drugs. Then they don't rest. So they abuse their bodies. And when the bodies are abused, they can't perform.
We've had games, we've had scenarios when you're watching a game, and I keep telling a few sports personalities that I talk to that you probably have your neighbor who is your fan, but you don't know it. So if you're going to go and party and come back at 2 a.m., maybe they will know, they will see you, or you're probably in the same place with them. So you have a game the next day, and you're performing poorly. And they'll be there in the fan base saying, we've had, when you're there and people will say,
Exactly.
And I've had many of them argue that maybe the fans are getting so much into their private lives, and I'm telling them, but are you sure it's your private life? Because if you're out in the bar,
it's not private.
It's not really private. But also we've had careers where a person comes out and they're a young player, and you keep hearing people say, he has a good feature. Then out of the blue, he just disappears. They've not really given us what we thought about. Then you hear stories like, if they paid salary, that one doesn't show up. And I'm thinking, who is going to help these players? They don't have anyone in their lives who talks to them and says, look, you need to do this, this and that.
Yes. You see, when it comes to football, we are supposed to do 3 things with the football player. You develop, you nurture him, then you expose him. Developing means, coach him, train him, take him through the different stages. Nurturing means football is more than a game. What about his life? You need to keep him with life skills that will help him take his career to the next level. Because the game itself is not enough. And that's where this comes in. That here in Uganda, specifically, we don't nurture. We just do the football. And without nurturing, they don't even know why they are playing football. A player comes and say, I want to play for you. I'm saying, me, I retired at 7. I played my football. So you can't play for me. You are playing for yourself, you're playing for your family and everybody. But that's what they think. Why? Because they are not nurtured. They are not being taught what to do. They don't know how to manage themselves. They don't know how to manage the success they get. Many of them get the success quite early. They become famous. They become public figures. And they don't know how to handle this. It's because we forget about nurturing them. When we were playing, I keep telling my friends, every after game in Nakivubo, KCC has won. The same fans were the ones taking us out to club. Those who drank alcohol, they bought them crates of beer. And the next day they expect them to perform. So the fans were killing them. And then when you don't perform, they're the first ones to, to scorn you. And that's because as a country, we don't nurture. We think sport is for people who just go and play. So we have not been nurturing. For instance, myself in the US, I was forced to take a media management course because they knew I was a football player. Definitely chances of you becoming a star tomorrow are high. So for them, they don't wait for you to become a star to teach you these things. Already they started to teach you, this is how you manage the media. because at one time, very soon, it's going to be onto you. So this is how you manage your life. At the moment you go to the club, it's no longer your private life. It's public because you are out there. So they teach you how to manage. Then they teach you the do's and don'ts if you want to succeed. Avoid alcohol, you know, the women, partying, and all sorts of things. You have to be at the best of your behavior when you are a celebrity. But here, we don't do that.
How does it make you feel when you see careers crumbling?
Because of course, pain. Now, I meet people that were great players, far much better than I ever was. But you know, they're addicted now, either to drugs or alcohol. They have families that they can't take care of. And you feel like you want to cry. But this is the story we are going through. And that's one of the reasons that formed my trying to be at the top of, such that we change some of these things to let the game take care of its people, but in the best way possible, not the way it is right now. So the fact that we are not nurturing has also kept some parents away, because they see these players and they say, I'm not going to take my kid there because I don't want my kid to be there. So football is still associated with Bayaye who plays. But yet once it is organized, it is a very disciplined sport, and we can do so much with it. But because we don't nurture the people who play it, we keep running into these problems. And that's why I say the system is producing itself. So the leaders become the former players who are going through the system, then they become the leaders.
And then they bring what they...
Exactly.
So they don't find this an issue because they did it.
Exactly.
Hey, that's a lot. That's a lot of work to do. So let's talk about family. Family, friends, lifestyle. The people around... But why am I asking this question? I assume Mujib's friends are all in the football circles, are they?
Many of them. I have many outside football.
Do they all understand how demanding this career you took is?
Not all of them. But my family, at the beginning, of course, just like any other family during my time, football is just football. You go play, you come back. But I was going from stage to stage. First they had in my primary school, he plays on the school team. Okay. Then secondary school, he's on the school team. Okay. Then I don't have to pay school fees because I've been given a scholarship. Okay, still no big deal because they could afford the school fees. Then they had me play now for KCC. My dad, my family is staunch Express.
Ooh.
Yes, so when I played for KCC, that's when they took me seriously. Then I got a scholarship to go and study for free in the US. They said, we didn't know.
Great.
If we knew back then, maybe, you see. But they have always supported me. I come from a very big family, more than 16 kids. I am number 9.
Is there anyone else in sport?
I am the only one. The others support. But active, professional level, I'm the only one.
Because if you were going to make a decision way back or even now, do you involve them?
Back then, no, because they didn't really pay attention. But when I was in senior 3, I joined the Uganda Premier League club, and I was 15 at the time. So the headmaster said, this is too early for you to do that. It's going to take you away from your education. I said, no, I want to play. So he insisted, I also insisted. So I had problems at Chibuli. So they involved my parents. Of course, to him, it was not even a choice. He said, no, football for what? You know? So my dad got involved in stopping me from playing. And I always saw him as somebody who is stopping me from playing. Now later, when I had even finished university, he felt bad that when I was younger, he was stopping me, but football has given me this much. Everybody knows me because of football. People find him and say, oh, your son. So now he started to do a lot more than he should have.
He was feeling a little bit guilty.
Exactly. But my young brothers, they bought me the equipment. They lived in the UK. They sent me everything that I needed. When I became older, now my dad even could give me the car if we have a match outside Kampala, and then I go. So in the end, I got the support. and it helped.
How many are you? 16 again?
Yes.
And your number what?
My dad is a sheikh and he's also a Uganda man. So they don't count kids for them. But he has kids from his blood and those that are from his hands.
Okay.
But from those that are his blood, we are 16 and I am number 9.
So if you're not, if it's a day when you choose to say, football aside, I want to have a good time, what's your good time?
A good time, friends and family. Like yesterday was a special day. So I was with family. And because we are many, we are laughing, we are joking, at the same time you are having a small serious meeting, and it feels good to be around family. When I was younger, I used to like clubbing. I went to club a lot. I went to club, but I really did party.
You don't do it anymore?
No, I haven't been in a while, because that stage passed.
Yeah.
I did it at the right time, but during that time, I would be in a club today, match tomorrow, club again. But the good thing, I wasn't drinking and doing all the other vices. So, but yes, I used to. But right now, friends, we can go out and sit and listen to a band and then continue to have a conversation. By 11 o'clock, I'm very sleepy, so I go home. But back in the day, I would do 2 days consecutively.
Non-stop?
Yes, I could hop from this club to that club.
Well, you're fatty.
I had the energy.
But anyway, that was the
yes,
time.
I had the energy and I think the resources
I think that's better than Okusanga Sars Nungwela.
Exactly, and I look back and say, I'm glad I did
it then.
all that bad.
Because I can't imagine finding a Mujib right now.
Exactly.
That would make news, probably the headline of
I
paper.
know, and during those days, I made news.
For
Bad
the wrong
news
reasons or
and
right
good
reasons?
news, for
Both.
A mixture, yes. Until I went back to my university lectures, how to manage myself. So I withdrew from the things that you don't want to be seen, you written about in the papers. So I withdrew from them. So now a bit quiet.
How is Mugole?
Ngole. She's fine. I didn't know you know that.
Oh, come on. What do you...
I didn't know you know that. But she's fine.
Mujib, what do you mean when you say you didn't know I know that?
I didn't know that you know that.
The media came, I think it came for everyone. Sometimes you're
know.
just chilling and you're like, oh, okay. So when I said I'm going to house Mujib, I said, oh, you have to keep up with the Mugole.
We did everything. It's done, dusted. Yes.
Oh, the media did us a disservice. I kept up with the first bit, then I missed the second. Oh, okay.
Everything was in that one thing. Everything put there, finished.
Because now you're up for the FUFA presidency and Proline and everything else. You're just up and about, right? How important is it to have a partner who understands everything that you're doing, especially in sport?
It's really important.
We've seen sports personalities, have issues. They broke up with their partner and the performance went off. How important is that?
It is, because just like say behind every strong man, there's that strong woman. Sports people need that strong woman more than anybody. We are very fragile and vulnerable, but on the face of it, it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah.
We look strong, we are macho, we're doing on the pitch, we're doing our thing, but off the pitch, we are very vulnerable. We are very passionate and compassionate, but most of us, we jump stages. Because you go and play football, all of a sudden you're a celebrity, all of a sudden you are dining and around people who are older than you, maybe richer than you, more influential than you. So you don't really grow properly. You don't go through the stages. So you become weak. Then we don't know how to do many things outside football. When you have a talent, everything, all your intelligence, everything is there. So outside, you become vulnerable. So if you have that person, now they can complement you. And they need to understand you at so many levels. if you are playing football, most of the time you are gone. And your spouse or your partner doesn't even know where you are. They have an idea you're in Masaka, but they worry. What are you doing? Who are you with? Are you actually playing football? So if they're not understanding, they can put you under a lot of stress.
A wolf.
Yes,
day in, day
under
out.
a lot of stress. Now, me, I have a football club, and we can go away with the players, and you see the girlfriend keeps calling, you know, if you're not coming back, me, I don't want to be alone. And you see now, he's confused,
oh, yeah.
you know. So me now, because I know if I see that, I say, you know what, go home, or invite her to come so she can come here and see, you know. So we are very vulnerable. So you need somebody that understands you, somebody that will be patient with you.
And understand the career as well.
Exactly, because sometimes we can think and act like children because we skip stages, like I said.
Sure.
So you need somebody that has that total understanding, has patience with you. And if they do that, we are really, really good people to have around.
But because you see, if we talk about your partner understanding your career, I mean, we will assume you meet this girl, you decide she's going to be your partner, but she doesn't watch football. She knows absolutely nothing about football. So
it's better that way.
It's you to help her understand your career.
Yes, exactly.
Did you say it's better that way?
Yeah.
When she doesn't know football?
It's better when she's not involved in the football.
Why?
Because now football takes both of you. But you need,
maybe she's involved
you need
in a way that
somebody to keep checking you. I see ladies who date football players and they want to be wherever they were. They want to support them that way. But for me, I don't think that's the best way. You need somebody who, when you go home, makes you talk about completely different
things. Yeah.
You know, such that you rest from the football.
And if she's a football fan, she will come back
yes,
and say,
yeah, she'll be the first one, you know. She'll be the first
before you know it, you're discussing football.
Exactly.
Oh.
So you end up being in football, away from home, you come back, it's football. But when she knows you're a football person, but she's not so much into it, then she can now start to groom you in other areas, you know. So for me, I prefer it that way. But it's different now. For me, when I was playing, and now as somebody investing in the game, the biggest challenge is that football takes a lot of money, but at the moment, it doesn't bring anything back. So most of the time, you have 10,000, the family needs it, and football needs it. And you know where it goes?
That's tight.
Yeah, very tight. The money always goes to the football. You see
now. And then?
Your partner will say, okay, for once, yes. Then third time, fourth time, then it becomes a habit. They are also human beings. Yeah. They have their needs and what they need outside your football and your thing. And many times, unconsciously, you put a blind eye to that. And that brings trouble. So you always have to check yourself and say, okay, now, too much football, now family. So you need to have that balance. But it helps when she's understanding. Because,
see, you can't, I think it's more of your role, you the player, or the partner on the other hand, or even your manager, let's see if a player has a manager really, to help this woman, give her an idea of how demanding the career is, so that sometimes maybe she doesn't really have to worry. But if you sit back and say, she has to understand this is my career, you know,
yes.
And then she doesn't, then you'll be fighting every day.
And that's the biggest mistake we make, we the footballers. We expect the ladies to automatically understand and just roll on. So we forget about them. Yeah. That's a mistake most of us do. And that's the most mistake that leads to the breakups. Even the best and the most famous footballers, they go through the same thing. Because you see, when you're playing, the fans adore you, they cherish you, they sing your name, you know, you make mistakes, you come back, they do the same. We think it is the same with your partner, and that's where we go wrong. So we need to understand that these people have to be oriented in what we do, but at the same time, we have to be empathetic towards them and what they need, what their needs are. You might be a footballer and everybody likes to watch you play, but she likes to go and watch a movie. She wants to go for a restaurant. She wants to go and have a holiday. She wants to be with you at home.
Yeah, or you know, if you come back home, she doesn't want football stories.
Exactly. She doesn't want to see the football stories and all that at home. So if you don't pay attention to what she wants and what she feels, then you get it wrong. And most times we don't pay attention, especially during the time when you're playing, because there's so much attention out there. Exactly. So
it looks like it's us who have to bend.
That's why a football player needs to be prepared. In Manchester United, the coach, Ferguson, will tell a player, you know what, now get married. And then he'll say, you know what, on Monday, can I meet you and your wife? Such that he makes you think about the family and your partner. So these things, we need to be helped also, such that we can help ourselves and our partners to live together in peace. Is
there a provision for, if a footballer has issues off the pitch, probably with the wife or the family, is there a provision when they come and it's a game, there is a game, for them to say, but I'm not doing well? Is there that provision, or it's...
Yes.
There is no.
Here in Uganda, no. If you say that, the coach will be like, what are you talking about? On the pitch, you see. But...
oh, you say that, and I remember there are coaches who even, when they do that, I think like a player confides in a coach and says, I am not doing well, I have issues. And then, unfortunately, the player has a bad game. I've seen coaches go for them in press conferences.
Yes, exactly. That's what happens. You see, we forget that people who play are human beings as well.
Yeah.
They lose loved ones. They have bad days at home. They have a lot of stress outside football. And when they are going through these emotions, they cannot perform. So you, the coaches and the managers, you need also to step out of that football bubble and look at Mujib now, the person. If I am crying, you need to cry with me. If I am celebrating something outside football, come and be with me. If I have a challenge in life, I should be able to confide in you and you help me. In those countries where football is developed, there is what they call compassionate leave. If your wife is about to give birth, go be with your wife. As I was coming today, a player from my club, the wife had a problem trying to give birth. And we have a match traveling tomorrow. So he was confused. I told him, you know what? Life, family are more important than football. Right now, forget the club. Football can go to hell for the next few weeks. Go be with your wife.
You know, I'm smiling. I'm thinking, you're giving me this picture of compassionate, and I'm thinking about our coaches. I'm like, that's not about to happen here.
It's the system. We go back, the non-existence of the system that nurtures. But in those countries, like I said, they give you this compassionate leave. For slight things, they say, go. If you're stressed, you're having fights back home with your wife, they will let you go and sort the family issues. Come back when you're good to go.
Because I can imagine if I come to office and I'm having a bad day, and my boss cares about why I'm doing things wrong, not what the issue is.
Yes.
I'd feel terrible, because that's more like all I care about is work being done. Whether you do it on your sick bed, I don't care.
That's the attitude. That's the mentality
I would first to have another job, really.
Exactly, and that's why many people are not productive at work, simply because we don't care about them.
Yes.
If you want somebody to give the best output, you need to care about them.
Because if a player says I have issues, I'm not well, and you're like, well, Sam, and he plays badly, who do you blame?
Still the player. That's what they do.
They told you they were not well.
That's what they do. And of course, that's why I'm saying we need to start looking at things differently. Football is football, but there are more important things in life than football. So the people who play it, we need to be empathetic. We need to understand that they are human beings. They go through other things. They have family, they have friends. There are coaches who will undress a player in front of everybody.
Nice. We have many.
Exactly. But somebody is watching on TV, and that somebody watching is the son of that player. And you are pulling him and dressing him down and calling him all sorts of names. They have wives, they have family, and once you do that, and we have seen many.
How is the player even supposed to feel confident again?
And many, their careers have been shattered from that point on, because the first thing that goes is their confidence, self-esteem goes. Everywhere he walks, this is how you brought him to light in front of the public. So it is really something that we need to teach people who manage, the coaches, to be more than coaches, to be managers, to be relationship managers, to have this understanding of what people go through. A player has so many stakeholders that are around him. He has his family, he has the players, he has the opposition players, he has the fans, he has the media. So he needs to manage all those things. And you are supposed to help him to have a very good relationship to do that. But if you're the first person to bring him down, then he cannot control the others, you know. So we have a challenge when it comes to that.
That's a lot. And then there are fans. A player makes a mistake. And you know us here. A whole week. Because then we assume, because our fans always react and we always assume as though the player wanted to make that mistake.
Yes.
But we all know he didn't want to. We always assume a player is supposed to be perfect the whole day. They're not supposed to have problems. We don't think about if he was well or not well. But again, I've been told fans will never understand that.
No, they'll never. Those are our bosses. Those are our bosses. And you feel for them. Because football is a passion thing.
Yeah.
And when the game is going on, that fan goes through 108 different emotions. One time his team is about to score, he's extremely excited, and then they miss, then he goes in the opposite direction of emotion. Then when they're about to score him, he's extremely worried, and you know, and then all of a sudden, so the emotions keep fluctuating all the time. And for them, the most important thing they want is entertainment and bragging rights. And those bragging rights are so important to them because at work, if you lost a match, at work you won't talk. So they always look for somebody to blame when things are not going right. Either it's a player or whatever it is, but most of that time it's the player or the coach. So the players, we know it. We know that relationship is bittersweet and we have accepted it. A fan will call you all sorts of names and you'll feel uncomfortable, but you'll be okay with it. But nobody else can do it and it's okay with the players. That's why recently you saw when the president of the federation came out and attacked the players, they reacted. They pushed back because you're not supposed to do it. But the fans, we accept they can do it.
I can understand because, listen, like a whole FUFA president, the fans might not get it, but a whole FUFA president, more like the coach, you should be the first to understand.
Know better, yes.
So if you can't understand really, and that's terrible.
Exactly. That's why you see the players immediately push back because you're supposed to understand that these boys, they make mistakes. They will have good days and bad days. When they have a good days, you take the credit. When they have bad days, then you come and berate them. So football players will never accept it. Even when a coach comes in public and criticizes them and attacks them, that relationship dies. But the coach can do it in the dressing room.
Sure.
You know, he can call on them. But publicly, no. Because like we said, these people are human beings first before they become football players. And you need to protect that side of them.
Mujib, I'm going to ask you to make your final comments before we can head into the last segment of this interview.
My first message will go to the players. If you have a dream of playing football, for whatever reason, the first thing you need to know that you need to work hard, you need to be disciplined, and you need to take care of your body. Because without the three of those, you are wasting your time. Football can give you everything you aspire to have in this life. It can give you a job, it can give you power, it can make you famous. But only if you do it the right way. You need to remember that you can never play football forever because the body gives way with every age you add. But the way you use your time of full activity will help you to navigate the rest of your life when you retire. So stay away from the things that hurt your body, stay away from the things that take away your concentration and focus. Avoid over-partying, avoid alcohol. You need to settle early in terms of your life with the opposite sex. You need to rest a lot. You need to eat well. You need to respect the game, but also respect the other stakeholders who are part of the game. If you do that, then you'll be successful. Short of that, your career will never go to the heights you aspire them to go to. Then to the fans. A football player is a human being first. Yeah. So you need to treat him as one. Give him respect. He needs you not only during the times when the team is doing well, but most importantly during those times when they are struggling or when he is struggling. He feels the voice, and this voice is what makes us play football, and it pushes us. But it's very important when that voice is positive all the time. We understand there will be challenges and there will be times when we need to be awoken by that strong voice and aggressive one to remind us that we are supposed to give you entertainment and good results. But as long as we are human, that will never be all the time. So we're not perfect, but at the end of the day, we appreciate. Then we have lives outside football as footballers. We have families, we have wives, we have people who look up to us, we have our kids who think we are the best dads in the world. But when we make mistakes and you attack us publicly and you reduce us to nothing, we lose our self-esteem, and in the end we can't give you a good product that you need. So for me, we all need each other and we push in the same direction. If we do that, you will enjoy the football that we play, but we also enjoy your comfort that you give us and that voice that keeps pushing us to the next level.
Personality that made you fall in love with football?
Personality that made me love with my cousin that I grew up with in Wandegea is called Muhammad God. Mohammed.
He was playing football?
He was playing football. He was older than me. He was a brother growing up in Wandegea. He was such a strong character when we were growing up. He made me believe that I would be a good footballer. He made me believe that I would do anything in football. He encouraged me, he supported me. He made me play with bigger boys when I was so little, and he made me play in all positions. He called me all sorts of great players. So this is the very, very person when it comes to football that influenced me into the game, and I will never forget the impact he had on me.
All right, best moment in your career so far?
As a footballer?
Yes.
As a footballer?
You're going to have to balance both.
Yes. As a footballer, my best moment was to play for my country.
Okay.
First time I stepped out to play for my country, I felt proud that I was one of the 11 people representing my country among so many. And as a young boy, I was dreaming of that. Then as an administrator, my best moment was when Sally Alpha scored a very beautiful goal.
And everyone was talking about it.
Just a month ago. Yeah. Yes, and everybody was talking about it because his parents brought him to me when he was 3 years. And they said, we want to make him a great footballer. Please do the job. Of course, I couldn't give guarantees. Yeah. It was a very hard project. But when I saw him run to his father, that moment, I was not only proud of myself, but I was proud of Proline and also the parent and the kid as well. Because these are the joys we want to give many players, many parents, and those that want to be around the game.
Best football team in Uganda?
Proline Soccer Academy. But as a youngster, I was a KCC fan.
Worst moment in your career so far?
What?
Worst moment in your career so far?
As in football, my worst moment, when we went to play for Uganda Cranes, we were coming from Ethiopia, and we got arrested.
The whole team?
At the airport. Yes, the whole team. We had not paid airport tax. And I said to myself, this is not what I wanted to play for Cranes. This is the opposite of what I dreamed of. And actually that formed the basis of my decision to quit.
Oh my
Uganda
goodness.
Cranes. Yes.
Best local song?
Best local
song.
Olimba Welogoza Welogoza. Do you know it?
What song is that, Mujib?
It's by Philly Lutaya.
Hush. I wouldn't get.
Some people call it sirimba.
Hey.
Yes, but that's the song. If you look at it, it has the best message ever.
Does that make him your favorite artist?
Locally, yes.
Okay.
It was.
Last song you danced to?
Last song, Dance with My Father. I danced with my kids.
When was that?
About 2 months ago.
That's when you last danced?
Yes, with my kids. But in the club, it's been years.
No, even in your house, Mujib.
No, I don't really do the dancing now. I did a lot of dancing when I was young.
Even in your house, just dance a little?
No, I'm not. I'm too shy to even do it, even when nobody's looking.
An item in your house you can't live without?
The Quran.
Oh. Would you... This one is really funny. Okay, no, I did. Best
it's
meal.
Funny you skip it.
Best meal. I'm going to ask it last.
Best meal, posho beans, sweet potatoes.
Posho beans?
And then a lot of fruits, especially jackfruit.
Typical sports personality. How long do you take in a shower?
A lot. People complain.
Like an hour?
A lot. Yes, I take long in the
Like 2
shower.
hours?
I take long in the shower.
An hour, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Quickest meal you can make?
Rice and beef.
Most played song on your phone?
I don't really play music anymore.
I thought so too. Coolest Ugandan footballer you have played alongside?
Jackson Mayanja.
First thing you do when you wake up?
Pray.
Hardest opponent you have ever faced?
Hardest opponent I've ever faced? Arthur Biansima.
Casual or gentle wear?
Casual. All the way.
You say that with a lot of energy.
Yes, I hate suits.
If it wasn't football, which other sport would you be professional at?
Volleyball. Yes.
Finally, Mbappe or Haaland?
Mbappe. Mbappe.
Makes sense. The question I had skipped.
I thought we were skipping it.
No. I skipped it. I skipped it for a few minutes, but it's back to haunt you. Would you do? Would you do? Hassan Waswa's hairstyle.
Who?
Hassan Waswa's hairstyle.
No. No.
You had to say that. You didn't even think about it.
No. Due respect to him, but
not that for you.
He looks good with the hairstyle, but
maybe it would look good with them as well, the dreadlocks.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't do any other hairstyle.
Thank you for making the time. Very honored to hear your story. I am sure there are many more because, I'm sure there are many more who keep thinking, but Mujib, what's Mujib like beyond football? So I'm sure they are going to be very excited to watch this.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I think that even makes this show more relevant because we keep seeing all these people around the pitch, playing, and we're like, but agenda out. What? Some of them look totally different. Their lives off the pitch and what they bring on the pitch.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's important that we keep exploring these stories. But thank you really much. Very honored to do this. And that's it. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.